Hello and welcome to Channels Sports on Sunday on Channels Television. I'm Cecilia Omog. Of course, today is all going to be about the FIFA World Cup, and not just that, we'll be touching down on some grassroots projects, especially pertaining to NPFL and also the Ifan Memorial Cup that will be taking place in Asaba, Delta State. The person that is actually championing this course will be joining us on the program. And of course, we'll touch down on how Bendel Insurance are actually preparing for life in NPFL. Remember the last time they came, they went back immediately, but they're trying to see how they can put everything in place to ensure that, yes, they're coming to the NPFL to stay and not going back to the NNL. Remember, they are the champions of NNL, of course. They won the Super 4 just last weekend. And of course, well, we'll talk about the viewing party that happened in Lagos. That's the World Cup viewing party. USA, after missing out 2018, they are back at the World Cup. Wales also, after 65 years, they're also back at the World Cup. But some teams are not there, especially Super Eagles. That's why fans are really not so happy about the fact that they are watching the World Cup and they cannot even watch the Super Eagles. But yeah, everyone has a team they're supporting. Some people in the studio right here, they have Spain, some have Argentina, some got Brazil, and of course, you know my team. Senegal, of course, they're not Brazil, if possible. All right. But then we have to pick a team to support. That's what it's all about. You have to pick one African team and also one that country. Could be from the West or from Europe or anywhere. But then we'll have to pick a team. But then Kana Chonongo, of course, is joining us from London. And we have Theophilus Agbola right here in Lagos studio. How are you?
I'm good.
You're enjoying the World Cup,
yes,
right?
Yes, I am. I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
So, yeah, you think the World Cup isn't as brilliant, as flashy, even without Nigeria in it?
It's a flashy. I mean, it doesn't have anything. You know, sometimes you just want that high blood pressure.
No,
I mean, you just want that pressure. I mean, the fact that your team is playing, you're supporting them, they're losing and all that. Not really. Maybe first with 5 minutes no goals. Are they going to score? And then maybe the opposition scores first, and of course you're waiting for the Super Eagles to call. It's just that you just want that adrenaline to pop. You want something really more exciting.
I think this is
not just watching them
our
passing.
absence just shows that the World Cup is not our birthright. For whoever thought it was our birthright, or we are always supposed to be there. Well, we are not there, and it's been a fantastic World Cup so far.
We are not there, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it is. It's been fantastic so far.
All right, I'm going to name ministry right now. Okay, I'm enjoying the World Cup, actually, but I'm really not happy that we don't have the Super Eagles right there. Okay, Ken Ochononga is ready to join us on the program. Ken, you're enjoying, right? How are you doing?
I'm fine, Sissy. And I can see that you guys are also enjoying yourselves in Lagos. Some people went to a party to go and watch Wales, play USA. I know when you go to a party, something comes with you. It is the World Cup era. It is the football thing. Football is really now. Every other thing is secondary. Every other thing is secondary. The controversies in the World Cup, the size, the misses, the bonuses, the celebration, the holidays. This World Cup, we said it is 7 days. It is the Winter World Cup. 7 days to Christmas, the thing we end is that, and stuff like that. So every other thing, when this history of football is being told, or the history of World Cups are being told, this World Cup is already unique. It's unique in the fact that, it is not a June event. It is unique in the sense that, the second time is going to the Asian continent. It is unique that it says that, the stadium is AC. I mean, you just enter there, and then that is how you have, because if you go outside, you can get fried at the players' better condition. But, you just have to talk about unity and diversity. If the man, I remember when, I think it was when Chile was hosting the Copa America, and some people were saying, look, how can we go that high? Just like, if we can climb down to come and play, you also come up to come and play. And won the World Cup. I won the Copa America that year. So all things being equal, we shall look at, like you said, the grassroots tournaments that are going on. We are not in the World Cup, but a lot of grassroots tournaments are going on in Nigeria. And there is a big one in Lagos starting December 1st. I tell you this. It's on hand of 100 million to take it. Just win it. 4 teams coming in. We just mentioned one of them. The traditional teams. Those of you in the studio might not know what it is. When Bendel Insurance was taking on Rangers in Nigeria, when Shooting Stars will go over there. They came in later, but that troika, Insurance, Rangers, Shooting Stars. It was not 3SO, IICC then. Man,
Okay.
a lot will be going on. We'll talk about all the grassroots. There's one in Port Harcourt, one in Newi, other one going on with the pre-season. So it's going to be a beautiful show today, I believe.
Always, as usual, a beautiful show, especially when you're right there. You know, Theophilus, when you talk about the Super Focus, there are some players that really gave their all in representing the country.
Yeah, well, Ifan being one of them. In 1999, she was 16 years old, the youngest player in the squad at that time. She died at 36, and so sad. I'm pretty sure that's why Judith's doing all of this. We don't have to forget her name. Let's see what we can do to at least let's immortalize her and keep her in the minds of people. You know, and then at the same time use that as an avenue to bring up more footballers. You know, organize competition that can bring up more footballers. Right, and I think the game for women is at a point whereby we need to actually step it up, because the rest of Africa is actually stepping it up right now. You know, we saw the Cup for Women's Champions League, and we felt that, okay, we could have done better, and I believe we will do better moving forward. Exactly, moving forward. But this is an opportunity for us to not just create an avenue whereby we can bring up more females or more women in the game of football, but also to remember one of our greatest. That's talking about Ifan Memorial.
Yeah, once Judith is able to connect with us, we will go to her. But then let's get into the World Cup proper while we're waiting for Judith to join us. Let's start with this one. Argentina, of course, when they lost to Saudi Arabia, man, the whole world, like the biggest shock, one of the greatest shocks in the history of the FIFA World Cup, losing to Saudi Arabia, the lowest ranked team, you know, I think after Ghana, Ghana and Saudi Arabia, one of the lowest ranked teams at the tournament. I mean, with Messi, not as if Messi did not play. So people were like, are they going to go out at the group stage? Yes, we've seen former champions actually going out at the group stage. It happened to Germany, the last World Cup, Russia 2018. Of course, it happened to some other bigger countries. France, of course, after winning the World Cup, they went out. Italy also, their countries that happened to going out at the group stage. We thinking Argentina were going to be the next one, but then they aren't, because Messi had to lead them to that spectacular victory. It was spectacular for them because they were already thinking, are we down and out?
Oh, exactly.
So it was more like a breath of fresh air, you know, when Messi scored that goal, and then before you know it, Fernandez got the second one, and of course they beat Mexico 2-0. So yes, their dreams are actually alive right now, and that's why they said that Messi actually helps the Argentine, giving them more like a peace of mind, because at first people were like, what's going to happen? One of the greatest, I mean, goes himself going out at the group stage, but it's not happening anymore.
It's really what a lot of people have dubbed to be his last hurrah. This might be Messi and Ronaldo's last dance. You know, so after that first game against Saudi Arabia, it came as a shock, because for the better part of that game, Argentina controlled that match. Messi put them ahead with the penalty, and then they were like 3 goals scored afterwards that were ruled off as offside, only for in the second half, Saudi Arabia. And later we got to, it's been trending on social media, we saw Javi Renard's halftime pep talk to the Saudi Arabia players, telling the bunch of them, oh, Messi's on the pitch, you can take a picture, you can take your phone and go and take pictures with him, or you go out there and you play the game of football, you know. And then in the second half, this guy stepped up and they put Argentina to the sword. A lot of people began to say, okay, fine, could this be it? Would they be out of the World Cup in the group stages? Then fast forward yesterday, Argentina and Mexico, Argentina always beating Mexico anytime they met at the World Cup. You know,
4 times.
We saw the first half yesterday, and it was a pity party.
Afraid.
It was like, okay, at a point, I had to tune away. I couldn't watch anymore, because I was like, I wouldn't want to see. Africa should not strike. It shouldn't strike twice. And I saw at the beginning of the second half when I came back, a free kick that normally in Messi territory that he will put away. Blows it over the bar. Like, what is going on with this squad? You know, and then fast forward later in the game, the pass comes to him. The young man looks left, looks right, and
as usual, this is it.
God.
I mean, made it so easy.
Ochoa, obviously one of the best goalkeepers of the tournament so far. He was beaten twice yesterday. You know, Messi scoring the first goal, assisting the second one. Argentina back from the last place in the group, now up to second behind Poland. We defeated Saudi Arabia, obviously, yesterday. I think it's a good one for them. They need to win their next game now to and guarantee progression to the next round of the FIFA World Cup. It would have been a disaster, of course, if Argentina had been knocked out.
If Messi is out, not Argentina.
But then again, Messi won, Argentina won. You can't take it away.
Ken, a quick one on Messi. I mean, of course, we know he's the GOAT, accolades so many. He's 35 years old. This may just be his last World Cup. But if you take a look at Messi and what he has done, you know, he has won everything. The only thing he's yet to win is actually this World Cup. And of course, if he's able to do that, of course, I mean, he'll be greater than Diego Maradona.
It's okay, it's okay. No worry. I told her that it's not ready. We'll tell her it's not ready yet.
Let's just, Ken is not ready to join us now. We'll just move on from Messi and quickly go to the fans. I mean, the fans, of course, obviously they are happy, rejoicing, simply because, I mean, this is what they wanted. This is it, and this is the moment. People traveled from Pakistan, India. Some couldn't even get a ticket to get into the stadium. They had to watch, I mean, outside the stadium, they had to watch with their phone. And at the end of the day, they're really excited that, look, Messi was able to give them what is so much wanted. Let's take a listen to one Argentine fan and also another fan from Mexico.
Messi is still here. Messi exists. He will never give up. He will show all the World Cup in our hands, in the hands of Argentina. Don't mess with him. He's Argentina! Thank you. Argentina. From all around the world, we are with you. We are believing in you. We are believing in you, Messi. You should just take the World Cup. We need this. Argentina needs it. No, not for anybody else. Messi, we love you. We believe in you, okay? We love you.
I'm fine because I knew Mexico sucks. Mexico can't create one play. One shot on goal. It's crazy. They can't create anything. So they defended, and by the time Messi scored, nothing to do, no?
Yeah, it's painful, you know, when you watch a team, they can't create anything. But then you're playing against Argentina, you're playing against Messi. Quickly, I'm going to go to Ken now. He's ready to join. Before I go to Judith concerning the Memorial Cup that's coming up in Asaba. Ken, quickly, a quick one on Lionel Messi. Yes, he had so many names, but a quick one on him, on how he was able to give Argentina a breath of fresh air winning that game against Mexico 2-0.
It has so many names, Sisi, but one of them is not Asun. Because when they lost to Saudi Arabia in their first match, trust Nigerians. Somebody tweeted and said they turned the goat into an Asun. So I think you know he has redeemed his image. A goal and assist. Like, you know, listen to Theo there. I know Theo watches Messi with his heart, not even with his head. So I know how he feels when that was going on. In the first half, at least they had no way of penetrating that Mexican team, and it looked as if it was going to be a bad tournament for them because it was a game they needed the result. They needed it so bad. So if they hadn't gotten that yesterday, they hadn't gotten that win, even if it was a draw, it would have been terrible for for Argentina. And a split second, when he hit that ball, I thought there was no power to it. It was actually when during the replay that I saw it from the back of the keeper. You know, when they showed that replay from using the goalpost. That when I saw that it was just straight. He saw that tight spot. He hit it, and that was it. And few minutes later, the guy came up there with that assist, and then the rest they say is history. I think this is redemption time. Like I said, the latter we're talking about, our countries who are going to win the World Cup. I didn't mention Argentina. I mentioned Messi. For him to cement, his legacy, for him to be known as the GOAT, because there are two GOATs here, and only one of them has the ability to pick that to join the GOATs of Pelé, Maradona, and the rest of them all in winning the World Cup. Between himself and Cristiano Ronaldo, I think it was disastrous. He went out in the in the group stages. But then the next match is not going to be easy. We see now they are there. Their destiny is in their hands, and that's what we expect of Argentina.
Destiny, you were going to say something.
Yes, I was going to say something. Yes, I was going to say something. Ken talked about the fact that it seemed like there was no power on that with the shot. But it reminds me, and I'm sure I can remember very well, 2011, Messi's goal against Manchester United at Wembley in the final of the UEFA Champions League.
When it defied gravity.
That was 2011 at Wembley. When he struck that ball, it seemed like there was no power, but he did
If I knew you were going to go there, I wouldn't have asked you to come.
You just have to go there, no problem. You just have to go there.
So let's leave that. We're talking about the World Cup, okay? Okay, Judith is ready to join us now. Judith, good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm good. And you guys? How you guys doing?
We're fine. We're fantastic. Of course, we'll be ready now, waiting for you to join us. Now, we've talked about Ifan Memorial Cup that is coming up in Asaba Delta State. Of course, everyone really wants to know much about it and how prepared you are for a Memorial Cup like that.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you, Cece, for actually having the time to let me talk about it. Because, and good day, gentlemen. You know, when we talk about soccer, it's so funny. They talk about soccer a lot in Nigeria, but they don't mention the women. They don't celebrate the women the way they're supposed to be celebrating women. But it's okay. We're still hanging on. We still believe we're the one keeping Nigerian flag flying. But the issue at hand right now is Ifan Memorial. And I started doing this when I was back home in the States. I decided to come back to us to make this in a reality. I've written letters and spoke to people asking for help and to see how we can make this a reality. Ifan Memorial joined the Falcon at 16 and died at 36. It's not a life to be wasted like that. It's a life to be remembered. Because when you think about this, most of all those female players playing today do not know much about how the legend actually slaved to make female soccer what it is today. Even the men, some of the men don't. But I decided to do this tournament, and somehow it is personal for me because if I died the day I was burying my mother, I made a promise to her I was going to come see her, but unfortunately I couldn't. So what we're trying to do, me and my team, is to immortalize that name, Ifan Memorial. She was the youngest, and she still was the youngest. And among us all, she's the only one that is gone today. So why let the name vanish out of the scene here like it matters not? But the only thing I can say that I am so grateful coming back home and, you know, when you talk to people over the phone, you get all the kind of experience. You don't get the call, they don't take your call. And I started getting the pushback, and I felt like Delta State Commissioner of Sport was not in support of this, was not about to talk to me. But I was so grateful, and I'm going to say a big thank you to him because I met him twice. And compared to what I've been thinking, it's a different thing altogether. And today I'm glad to say that he is in full support and has assured me that everything will be fine, that we can do the tournament here in Delta. So we're just, I have 8 teams who already agreed that they're going to be part of it. And we're looking forward. I'm hoping that my scouts are also going to be available on that day. One of the things I'm trying to do as well is to see how we can use that avenue to get girls to go to school. I mean, female soccer, Nigeria is not yet there to actually appreciate the game the way it's supposed to be done. Because in the whole world, the girls are doing good. Most of them are even doing better than the men, but we don't get to be talked about. We're fine, we're okay. You know, we won trophies, we won, whatever we win, it doesn't really matter. Nations Cup, let the men talk about it, but you can never tell, they can never say they've actually won more Nations Cup than the women. We both play size 5. Why treat us like a second fiddle? We're not. We play the same side. We run the same race. There's nothing different. But my whole heart today is, let's see how we can celebrate a life.
Yeah.
It's not about celebrating trophies, celebrating somebody who's still living. What about celebrating this young girl? If I gave everything she had to play for the Super Falcons, play for teams, and she's gone now. I'm pretty sure if you ask most people, nobody know who Ifan Memorial is anymore. But that's where I come in, and I'm not going to let that happen.
Okay.
You know, it's nothing for me. It's just me fulfilling what my heart said to do. The only thing I'm asking is the able Nigerians to join me. I mean, there's a lot of fathers, mothers, sisters, uncles who are well-to-do. It will not kill anybody to throw their weight on this event. It will not. I hear Mr. Kelly talks about they're about to do a tournament that's going to be 100 million. We are not asking for 100 million, but we're asking for something. Just throw your weight on the event. I mean, you go to companies, when I ask somebody, say, oh, you know, there's no time, the politician did it. Come on, we're talking about celebrating a young life. This girl is gone.
Okay.
There is no husband, no child. The legacy is over. But we cannot automatically allow the legacy to be completely over.
All right.
We can do something to keep that legacy going. And I'm going back to Mr. Kelly because if you guys can put a tournament together and said the winner take 100 million, what happened to Ifan Memorial? What would he cost you guys to throw at least, even if it's 1 million to this event and say, oh, wow, we didn't know this thing is out there. Let's support you guys with 10 million. Or let's support you guys with 1 naira to see this event going. We see how things are going in Nigeria now. Nothing is happening. You know, everything is going the other way around. Everybody's talking about politics, politics, politics. There's still able businessmen in Nigeria and women. My thing here is, it could be your daughter, it could be your sister, it could be your niece, it could be your aunt. But this girl has nothing anymore to live for. She's gone.
Yeah.
I'm only asking that the God-fearing Nigerians, the fathers in this country and the mothers in this country who are well-to-do, who have kids, don't let this name just go like that.
Right.
Thank God Delta State has joined.
Okay.
I am asking, I'm pouring my heart out and saying, please support the girls. I mean, most of all these people talk about the girl's child. I've reached out to almost all of them that talk about girls' kids, but nobody seems to be giving me a call back. And I'm not angry. I'm not offended. It's not their fault. That is where we find ourselves. But I'm still sure there's one Nigeria out there that can say, okay, Judith, we hear what you said. We'll support you with little that we have. I know I reached out to the Bet Niger, and he did his bit. He gave me his word, and he followed through with it.
Okay.
And I'm still hoping that somebody else do the same. So the whole event here is see how we can get those girls come out. And we're not talking about the Premiership team. We're talking about the young ones. Come out and play this event to keep this name going. And if as that continue, we have avenue to scout for players who will go to school, because if I once had that opportunity to go to school in the state, and we're still open to that. And if God willing, most of my scouts shows up, some of them will be able to get the opportunity to play pro. Those that want to play pro, they will also have that opportunity to do that.
All right, a quick one. Dates for the event. I mean, it's going to be in the summer. Of course, it's confirmed now. Do we have a date fixed for the tournament?
Yes, it's going to be 15th to the 21st.
Okay, December. 15th of December. In
right
Asaba.
After, Asaba is also in the festival. Yes.
Okay.
Asaba is also in the festival, so it's going to be right after their festival.
Okay,
yes.
That's a good one. I don't know if Ken has one word to say to you, especially when you keep bringing him in. Ken, do you have something for her before we let her go?
I had to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Coincidentally, Judith, if I change played under me, you talked about the day he died.
No.
Yeah, you talked about the day he died. I knew the day Ifani's name came up among the list for when she was called up to play in the World Cup in 1999, we were all jubilating. She was playing for Flying Babes under Victor Etugbo. Etugbo was the owner of the club. And Chejina was in the team. Agata was in the team. I was a member of the management team. So I played football. I practiced with Ifani. Ifani is like a daughter to me and stuff like that. So this is personal. If she were a male, Ifani could have played in the Super Eagles. She is that talented, the most talented player I've ever seen at that age. So it is not a story. I'm telling you of what I know very, very well. How we picked her up from the school in my two, paid her school fees, sent whatever it is, and we're paying her school fees even right there because of the talent that she has. She was running. She's an athlete, and then we put them in the hostel, took care of everything I want to do around her. Ifani is somebody who I will tell, who I know her story, how she began and how she got up there. And unfortunately, like you said, she left at a very young age. I mean, and a lot of dreams unfulfilled. But she is worth celebrating. And I thank you, Judith, for doing this. I thank you so much. When Sissy mentioned this, I said, look, beautiful, we have this. And you don't know it was her person. You don't know, Ifani, it's my daughter, just like she is your sister, and that is what we want others to follow. So the 100 million will soon come also, for the female team. We expect that you guys should also have more than that. I wish you the best of luck, Judith. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Judith, for putting this together. Of course, all of us right here will support you, moral support, the best that we can to just ensure that, yes, this will definitely go on. Thank you so much. Of course, maybe during the tournament, we'll be able to get some coverage. And after that, we can also bring you in to tell us more how successful it was. But we need to go on a break. When we come back, of course, we'll be talking about Mbappe and also how Nigerians are feeling, having to watch the World Cup right there in their houses and not having to go to Qatar, and also not having to, having that high blood pressure that you want to have when you're watching the World Cup. Welcome back. Let's quickly talk about Kylian Mbappe. Yes, he has scored 7 goals already. I mean, this is his second World Cup. And Messi, it took Messi 21 games, right, at the World Cup to score 8. Same with Cristiano Ronaldo. But this guy, at 24, Okay, 7 goals at the World Cup. I don't know, people were talking about a replacement for Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi. You already have Haaland, and of course you have Mbappe. But I think Mbappe is the real deal right now. He's playing for France, so it's more like it, unlike Haaland who plays for Austria. Maybe they'll be qualifying for World Cup once, you know? I don't know. But he can carry the whole of Austria. That's what it is. But Kylian Mbappe, how impressive was he for France last night? See,
before we came on air, we were talking about how he dodges injuries on
yes.
He watches his legs. But you need to see his pace is, pardon my French, it's insane. The way he pushes the ball, the way he runs around, like he's literally you can't catch him. Kylian Mbappe, when that game was going on yesterday, and it seemed like France were just finding the Danish team a hard nut to crack. Somehow I just knew that the man that would be able to break that drop was Kylian Mbappe. Like he's done it multiple times. And there was an argument on our group chat yesterday about Mbappe and all of that. You really cannot deny his greatness. And at his age, what he's doing is super, super impressive. We talked about the fact that very few teams can recover from what France had to recover
series
from.
Of injuries.
Yeah, the injuries that their players have had and all of that. But trust this young man to step up and he delivers. If he's not scoring goals, he's assisting goals. And he's not just staying up front. He will track back to assist the defenders behind, and then he will start the attack all the way from the back. And he has the pace to go all the way forward and then get the job done. I watched him play yesterday, and this man is destined for greatness. My favorite team at this World Cup, obviously, is Argentina, for clear reasons, for obvious reasons. But you really cannot deny the fact that Kylian Mbappe can single-handedly change the course of a game if you do not put him on a tight leash.
And that's what he has done so far. All right, let's talk about the countries that haven't been to the World Cup for a long time. Yes, USA missed out in 2018 after being consistent. Of course, for ways it took them more than 60 years for them to appear the second time. But Nigeria had appeared like 5 times or thereabout. Couldn't go. Well, let's report the viewing party that was organized by U.S. Consulate on Monday, of course, to kickstart the World Cup. Let's take a look at the report. What happened at that event?
Diplomats, celebrities, media personalities and fans chatting and networking while waiting for the opening Group B match between the United States and Wales at the Consul General Residence, Ikoyi, Lagos. The viewing party is to kick off the United States campaign in Qatar, having missed out of the World Cup in Russia 4 years ago. The U.S. Consul General, Will Stevens, is optimistic about the outcome of the match.
This is a really strong, super talented young team. A lot of players who've been together since they were kids. They've been playing together. They've won a couple of key tournaments in CONCACAF. So I'm feeling good about their chances. They're also used to playing against world-class competition in the Bundesliga, the Premier League, and in the U.S. So coming together, I feel really good about their chances to get out of the group. I think they're going to get 2 goals in the back of the net, and we're going to be celebrating like crazy tonight.
Not too long, Timothy Weah, son of Liberian president and former World Player of the Year George Weah, gets the U.S. on the score sheet, and the celebration is intense. However, the opponents, Wales, level up. In spite of being even, their spirit is not dampened.
So we're divvying them up diplomatically with our good friends, the Welsh. So obviously it would have been great to get the win, but Team USA did a great job. The boys gave it their all. So proud to watch those young men out there. They were a really young team, and they clearly came together with a lot of energy and spirit. Scored an amazing goal. Wonderful to see a son of Africa on Team USA. Tim Weah, what an amazing player, and his first goal in the World Cup. And I expect great things from him and from the team as we go forward with the tournament.
We split it. That's all right. It was a good ending. I was pretty happy. Our Welsh friends were here, so we're all okay with the results tonight. But I'm still rooting for Team USA.
For Ben Llewellyn-Jones, the British Deputy High Commissioner in Lagos, and his wife Laura, Wales are in Qatar to compete.
It was brilliant. I think it was a really good game, evenly matched, 1-1. I hope for a victory, but you know the guys gave it everything. They weren't going to give up. 9 minutes of extra time, and they still kept going. Bring on Iran, bring on USA. We're going to make it through to the next round. We're going to go. We're going to do it.
We want to go all the way. We're not just here. We're here to be here. So really pleased. Our boys did so well, yeah.
But for Nigerians, what's the feeling like watching the World Cup without the Super Eagles? goals.
It's sad, it's depressing, and it's really upsetting. You know, in March, you would think, oh, don't worry, yeah, we're not qualifying, you get over it. But then the more you watch the World Cup now, the hungrier you get, the more upset you become. But then again, you have to understand, Nigeria don't deserve to be at the World Cup. That's why they are not there. They fail to plan, and they don't deserve to be at the World Cup. But when you look at the quality of play and the way the World Cup is going, the teams that are there, and the way the players are playing, the young players and what they are doing, you begin to feel it's an opportunity lost.
It's sad. There's no two ways about it. I won't want to paint it. I will tell you straight. For business and also as a patriotic Nigerian, I have to come here and I have to even wear my Super Eagles jersey. Just to, if I have to be at the World Cup, I know our jersey will be the best jersey.
What's there for a Nigerian? Young people like us and the old people are like teaming football fans. We're a football nation. It's a crime for us not to be at the World Cup. It's unacceptable, totally unacceptable.
It's a painful thing because football is the opium of the people. And that's what we use to forget about whatever the country is going through and all that. So it's a sad thing that Nigeria is not there because this is time for joy, for everybody to come together as one.
It is time to peep into their crystal balls.
France, Germany, Brazil, and of course Argentina, I think are the countries that you need to watch out for in this World Cup. So for me, I can't pick one. I think it will be one of them, one of the four that will win the World Cup.
I have the United States of America, but I have England, the United States of America, I have Portugal, I have Argentina, and possibly Brazil.
32 countries are jostling for the priceless trophy at the Mundial, and only South Americans and European nations have been crowned champions.
All right, Wayemi Ajala is right here in the studio joining us in the second part. Wayemi, how you doing?
Thanks, Sissy, for having me. I don't see any crime when you fail to qualify. It's either you is deserving or not deserving. We did not deserve it.
Another heartbreak. Okay. All right. I mean, we've talked about Messi, Mbappe, but time to talk about Lewandowski. Of course, we know he scored goals. When it comes to goals, that's a player you really can write off. And of course, he scored his first. I mean, it's interesting to note that he hasn't scored at the World Cup before. This is a first goal.
After 4 matches.
After 4 matches.
This is the 5th match. He had to break that dog of the World Cup drought. And I think it's like the icing of the cake. He's a proven goal scorer in and out. So getting to the biggest stage and not being able to deliver just like Messi and Ronaldo, I think that is something missing from his CV. So he said you could see how he had his head in his hand. I was relieved he has finally gotten his dream, his childhood dream of finally getting a World Cup goal. I think that is the stage to do it.
Yeah, the stage to do it. Let's quickly go to Ken in London concerning Lewandowski. Of course, maybe he has something to say concerning the US, the viewing party to kick-start the FIFA World Cup. Ken, are you ready? Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. All right. Just a quick one on the viewing party and also on Lewandowski, who got his first goal for Poland at the World Cup after 5 games.
Whether you either watch it, you either be part of the team, or you'll be on the sideline to watch. Like you said, Nigerian participation at the World Cup is, a kind of you understand? We go 1, 2, 3, we come down. We go 1, 2, 3, we come down. So this is the time. Maybe after this, in the next 3 editions, we are going to qualify. We'll be there 6 times, and this is the second time we're missing out, 2006, and now in 2022. So that is it. For Lewandowski, I don't actually call him Lewandowski. I call him Lewandowski. He was, he was born to score. And that it's unfortunate that he is from Poland. If he's from probably Brazil or Argentina, probably by now, or maybe Germany, one of those big teams in Europe, where other talents needed to complement his own, he would have been probably a UEFA Nations Cup winner or a World Cup winner. But on club and national team basis, when you put him there, you have a top striker, a goal poacher, and that is what he is. You were talking about Kylian Mbappe. I really want to go back to that. Why do I want to go back to that? Because Cameroon is in the World Cup now, and Cameroon are not doing very well. Of course, they've not done very well in the first match that they played. We hope that they improve on that. But then, Mbappe has just scored 3 goals, and then there is one Bril Donald. You understand? Bril Donald Mboli, who also scored for Switzerland. Mbolo's father is a Cameroonian. You understand? They moved from Cameroon. He was actually born in Yaoundé. They moved to France before he went to Switzerland. Mbappe's father is a Cameroonian. So you can see Cameroonians scoring for Switzerland, Cameroonians scoring for France, and there is no Cameroonian scoring for Cameroon. And that is the irony of it all. So that is why I say I don't want to look about that. And then when they go, they say Mbappe of France, not Mbappe of Cameroon, not Mbolo of Cameroon. And then contrary to the news also going around that the people went to go and attack Mbolo's family house when he scored against his country. Remember when he scored that goal for Switzerland, the young man, he was actually born on Valentine's Day, 14th of February 1997. He did not celebrate. He did not celebrate. When his Swiss colleagues came in to come and celebrate him, he said, "No, I have scored against my fatherland. It is not worth celebrating. This is just like a job done. It is not from my heart. It is from my professionalism. That is why I did this. If I have other alternatives, I wouldn't have done it." And he didn't celebrate. And that is in there. And yeah, that is in that you can see his Cameroonian colleagues telling you why did you do this to us? And then it is like Joseph being sent to go and save the Israel. Maybe someday he will go back to save the Cameroonians. So that is the thing. And then let me just briefly talk about the But let's can I just take a minute to talk on the other things that we're talking about here? Judith mentioned about the 100 million thing. I think we'll come back to that later.
We'll come back to that later. Yeah, we'll come back to that later after the World Cup quickly. I mean, let's just take a look at the games for today. I mean, there's so many matches as usual. I mean, Qatar is a place where you can watch 3 games in a day. I mean, it has never happened before. I don't know if it has happened in those days, but recent World Cup that we've watched, you have to travel one city to another or maybe some kilometers far apart. But in Qatar, you can watch 2-3 games in a day. And of course, a full-time Costa Rica that lost their opening game 7-0 to Spain, beats Japan that defeated Germany 2-1 by a lone goal. And of course, it's what Spencer Fuller that gave them that 81st minute goal. So Costa Rica, they've been able to pick up their first 3 points of the tournament. So that group is looking very, very dicey. Of course, previous results that happened on Saturday, Poland and Saudi Arabia 2-0. Saudi Arabia, remember, beating Argentina 2-1. Argentina, of course, beating Mexico, bouncing back from that 2-0. And of course, all the results are coming from Group D. Also on Saturday, you have France also winning that game. And also you have, let's just flip over to Group D results from Saturday, where France winning their game. And also Australia, we're thinking maybe Tunisia will bounce back from that goalless game, but then the game on Saturday, it was a loss. Australia won that by a lone goal. Mitchell Duke was the one who scored the only goal. It was at 23rd minute for that. Of course, Spain and Denmark, that game ended 2-1. Of course, Christensen scoring for Denmark, but then Kylian Mbappe scored 2, and France, they are in the round of 16. For today's result, you just saw Costa Rica and Japan. Costa Rica beating Japan by a lone goal. We have other games later today in action. Spain and Germany. That's the game, of course, everyone will be waiting for. And that game is 8 p.m. tonight, Nigerian time. And of course, before that, you have Belgium and Morocco. That's 2 p.m. Just a few minutes from now, a few hours from now, you'll be having that game, 2 p.m. Nigerian time. And the game between Croatia and Canada, that will be 5 p.m. Nigerian time. That's coming from Group F. So these are the fixtures for you at the FIFA World Cup. Costa Rica and Japan. Costa Rica getting their very first point right there. So when you look at that group, Spain is up, followed by Japan, Costa Rica, all of them on 3 points. Only Germany, yes, they played just 1 game, yet to get a point after just 1 game. When you just look at the table, you see Germany at the bottom. it happens. It's just one game they played, so they have to play another one tonight. Let's see. Spain, their firepowers with 7 goals, be able to, well, yeah, the weapon coming from Germany, be able to nullify that. Quickly, Australia and Tunisia. Yes, Australia, their first game was goalless. We expect maybe against Australia, they should be able to get a result, but somehow they just couldn't do that. Quick one, Phil.
Well, I felt Tunisia might have been able to get something out of that one, but then again, I saw Australia take on France in their first game, and they actually moved.
Yeah, they scored first.
They moved the ball around very well, and they were very physical in that game. So I remember taking out Lucas Hernandez before Theo Hernandez came in on the left flank, and obviously able to nullify the threat because they kept on bombing down that right flank. You know, and I wasn't surprised when they put Tunisia to the sword yesterday. Well, it's what happens that this is the World Cup. You don't really have time to for what ifs and maybes. When you get on the pitch, try as much as possible to get the job done. If you cannot do it at that point in time, then you have yourself to blame for it. So they won that match yesterday. A good one for them. Hopefully Tunisia can probably bounce back against France.
Against France. So it's like Tunisia is also going home, but they've never been past the group stage. They've been to the World Cup how many times? 6 times, right? They've won just 3. They have 9 points from all of them. Yeah. They have to get to, okay, they have a point right now. They'll still add it to the ones they've had as a 10 so far. Crazy.
Yeah, they were the first African team to win at the World Cup, and I think you don't write them off against the French because the French always have these difficulties against African side when it comes to the biggest stage.
And the fact that they qualified as well, so
yes,
they want to rest players.
Yes, and even when we played the French in the friendly, under I think Amado also, we won that game. So I think the problem for the Tunisia has to do more of their mental attitude. They drew the first game. And for the Aussies, it was like lose and go home. So they came out all out in that match. Why the Tunisians were, we still have 1 point in the kitty, so let's just take it easy, get another point and move on. So I think it starts to do mental attitude. That is what caused the Tunisia that match. And that was what Deschamps was also saying yesterday when he was asked if Mbappe was a leader. He said, yes, you have the physical, mental, and technical leader. So in this match, the Tunisians, they lack the technical leadership to go through the Aussies. And I think they might just pay dearly for it.
Paying dearly for it. So let's see Tunisia, if they can, well, they have 1 point so far. If they can beat France, of course, mathematically, they still have opportunity to really get out of that group. Yes, good thing Senegal have already picked up their first 3 points. So they're the only team so far in Africa that have won. Yes, it's just 1 round of games so far. Only Tunisia played 2 games. We'll see what's going to... Senegal also playing the second game. We'll see what Cameroon and, of course, Morocco can do to see how they can at least fly the flag of Africa so high. Ghana, of course, they went toe-to-toe with Portugal. At the end of the day, they lost by 3 goals to 2. We'll see what's going to happen in their other games. Ken, quickly, we'll just leave. There's so much to talk about when it comes to the World Cup. We can spend the whole show talking about the FIFA World Cup. But then you want to talk about the 100 million naira preseason tournament. So you have it.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it because, that is we've been angling for insurance to come back. We want to watch insurance versus shooting. We want to watch Ranger versus insurance. I've watched those matches, and I knew that I know what it is like, or what it was like then, and what we expect. They call them the traditional teams. They have that support. We want to see maybe someday maybe the team, the yo-yo that goes up and down from Lagos. If they put their house in order, maybe a stationary stores will come back. Maybe there was Mighty Jets. Maybe before Kano Villas, there was Raka Rovers of Kano. You understand? These teams have traditional followers, and that is what they are saying here. So the return of insurance, the Shooting Stars came in last season. Insurance is back, and then Rangers has been there. They are relegation is not associated with each other. And then Enyimba, of course, what talk about Enyimba, the only team to have won the Champions League for the CAF Champions League for Nigeria. Did it back to back, and since then it has been the Enyimba before Enyimba and after Enyimba, and that is what it is. So I'm coming with MPFL. Why I like this is, you look at the MPFL now, been getting endorsement, getting sponsorship, and that is what we've been talking about here. Pre-season, Each of the teams will go home with 10 million as appearance fee, and the winner takes it all, 100 million. Wow, what do you think about that? A team with 100 million, no matter how bad it is in Nigeria, we have a good stead to pay salaries for their teams. I mean, a lot of logistics, and that is what it is. So 100 million can get you a bus to travel, a very, very, very good bus. So if it's a bus you want to think about, so 100 million will do a lot to any Nigerian club side, and to do that in just a three-match preseason tournament, starting right there on the 1st and on the 4th, is something that I am very, very much happy about. Like I said, Judith just told us about the Ifan tournament that will come up in Asaba. There is another one in Port Harcourt, I think by Kelechi Mogu, where even guys like Joseph Yobo will be there. Football is in our blood. Football is in our blood. You see, let me tell you this: if we can harness the football industry, the foreign exchange that will coming in, Opa will be there to tell you how that makes the naira to appreciate. Nnewi is an industry. Nnewi, you see, the motor city in Nigeria, I don't know about Detroit in the US. Nnewi is one of the centers. And right there, they are doing another tournament there for the 4 quarters of Nnewi. 30 teams coming around for the finals group. So these are the things that we are saying that Nigerians can do this. Let us just harness it, do it properly, get it from the grassroots. Get peace, get unity, get the conducive environment to do all this. And I tell you, football will be one of those cash cow that will revamp the Nigerian economy and give the Nigerian child a dream for us to go out with their talents.
Yeah, a quick one on the 100 million that you're emphasizing on, because we don't know the teams that are playing. We don't know if it's for MPFL or NNL, and we don't know the city where it's going to take place, and we don't know the name of the tournament. Is it 100 million? Pre-season tournament or something? We just want to know more about it.
I wish we are probably by next, because it's Saturday, maybe by next one, they probably will have a Davis Omi and the CEO
to tell us
more, to join us. We're promising this and saying, but like I said, the teams that will be there are Enyimba, Rangers, Insurance, and Shooting Stars.
MPFL teams.
Yes, MPFL teams. They said Kano Pillars will have been there, but because they've been relegated, because they were able to spread it around. So that, I think it's for MPFL teams that are coming, and that's why Kano Pillars is not there. And of course, it's taking place right there in Lagos, and it's starting on the 1st. So it's just there.
Does he have a name yet? Does he have a name?
Football, yes.
What's the name of it?
I think but I do know that it's a collaboration with the MPFL. So basically, that is what I know for now. And I think that is what we should think, what to do with it. Yeah.
All right, I love that. I can't wait for MPFL to actually start, and then we get to see it on TV, because that's what the committee that was set up, IMC, set up. That was what they promised, that they want to have the MPFL back on TV. That's what we're waiting for. Not on the app where you have to use your data, but just watch it on TV, like you're watching, the PSL, the Premier League, the La Liga, and even Kenya. I mean, I could watch Kenyan League on TV. Ethiopia, there's so many. Ethiopia, I could watch their league on TV too. Zambia, all of them. So we also want MPFL to be that. That's what we are all waiting for when it starts. So let's leave the preseason tournament, because I think David Siomi won't be able to join us to throw more light on this. So you guys can talk to us. I mean, the phone lines are open right now. Tell us your favorite team for the tournament. Are you still disappointed that Nigeria, they're actually not at the tournament? Well, until the Nations Cup, until the World Cup is over, we'll still feel it. Maybe the next one, we'll work harder to be there. Quickly, before we talk about insurance that he just mentioned, we need to go on a break. When we come back, then we'll talk about Bendel Insurance. Yeah, teams like Shooting Stars, Rangers, Enyimba, Bendel Insurance, of course, when they get that 100 million quid, if they're able to win it, they can, smile home. But Okpeyemi wants to break it down for us. What does he mean for these teams? And, when it comes to foreign exchange, how much is this really?
Yeah, we are talking about $125,000.
Okay.
Bukayo Saka. We talked about Cameroonian scoring. That we have in Nigeria scoring a place for England, so he earns more than that in a week.
In a week, yes.
And it's also shameful that we always have this unending preseason. We have almost the longest running preseason session in the world. And fortunately, the 4 teams that have ever won continental trophies for Nigeria are back: Insurance, Shooting, Enyimba and Rangers. So when we have 4 continental giants struggling for $100 million, are we moving forward or are we moving backwards?
100 million naira, not dollars.
Apologies, naira. We're talking about the Argentine, the Saudis being promised Rolls Royce. 1990, when UAE, their first World Cup and their first goal, I think it was, I was trying to even see the guy, Khalid Ismail. I could not see him through my guide. And it was promised a Rolls Royce for scoring their only goal in the 1-5 defeat to the Germans. And by a local businessman, though he never got it, he never got that Rolls Royce. So I wish the Saudis player get it. And he was saying, as at then, they promised them like 30,000 dirham back in 1990.
Okay, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there, really. Now, let's talk about Bendel Insurance, of course. They won the NNL Super 4, and they were able to present the trophy to the governor of the state. Well, before we talk about that, let's quickly take this call coming from Owolafe. He's calling from Ogun State.
I'm calling from Izopoya. Hello.
Hi, good afternoon.
And afternoon. Can't forget to mention that Bendel Insurance is coming to meet Kwara United too. And I want to let Ken know, Ken is a Rangers supporter. And I thank God that by the grace of God, we are waiting for them this season. And again, I believe that the way the Brazil and Spain are moving, I'm thinking one of them, I can't pick the winner now. By the time next program, your station, next Sunday, I can pick one by the grace of God to say this is the winner of the World Cup. And Ken, when you are coming, don't forget us here. You know the place you drop the paper for, you cook for me. But you say, you can drop what you print for me, I said the whole world now. Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Olafe, for calling. All right, quickly, let's talk about the insurance. Ken, of course, you have to drop that. That will be off air, when you're dropping it. Right? Insurance, of course, they won the NNL Super 4, and they had to present the trophy to the governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki. Of course, promises obviously will be made. But then when you see the faces, if you can see the picture, if you see the faces of the players, how excited they are. For a long time, insurance was just nowhere. We thought that's the end of it. But when this administration actually came on, they've been able to revive the club. Now they are back in the MPFL. Now they were able to, they finished top in NNL. And of course, they also went ahead to win the Super 4. So it's a whole lot for them to celebrate. And of course, they presented the trophy to the governor just last weekend. And the excitement.
I think the problem for me is, instead of us having, I'm sorry to use it, having structures put in place would depend on individual. Yeah. What happens when this administration
don't have a soccer lobby? It's footballing governor.
No, deputy governor. Okay. He was a player. He featured in the last National Sport Festival. So what happens when deputy governor
That's why they have sponsors already. I think those are the structure they're trying to build, the sponsors that they have. But let's see, as you mentioned, what's going to happen with the sponsors, because they have the shared sponsorship deal. Also, there's so many deals that they've signed and all that, but we'll see what's going to happen. But let's listen to him first. Okay. What he had to say, what they've been through. I'm talking about Deputy Governor now, Philip Shoaibu.
Screening is still ongoing for us to be formidable. We want to avoid what happened the last time, where we got to MPFL and we got a shocker, maybe because we took like 12 years to go to MPFL. So we didn't understand how it was. As we got there, they picked us and we came back. But this time, immediately after we won the ticket we qualified to MPFL, we started work immediately. We didn't go to bed. They've been playing one match or the other. They've been in camp. In fact, they left Badagry camp in Lagos to go to Bielsa to play the Super 4. They've been in camp in Badagry, where they are playing local and international matches. They are having match with some club in Togo, just preparatory and exposing them to both national and international engagement. Because now we are in MPFL. The implication is that we want to target continental. So we don't want them also to get to win Continental. And that will be the first time they are leaving the shore of Nigeria to play international matches. So we have already started exposing them to both national and international matches. So they've been Badagry.
Interesting. So for those of you thinking maybe they're not ready for the season, well, they said they're really ready. And of course, that's why they've been playing international and also national matches. But before I get Okpeyemi's reaction that has been nodding his head, so we have to listen to Governor Godwin Obaseki also talking about this. And he is still pained by the fact that Nigeria, nothing Super Eagles of Nigeria, they're not in Qatar. But then he's got promises for Bendel Insurance.
We pray that this is the last time that there will be a World Cup and Nigeria will not qualify. Because I can see some of you working hard and playing in the next World Cup. And I'm sure watching the World Cup, one thing is clear, just like with the Premier League, it's all driven by big money, by sponsorships. For us to sustain what we're doing and where we want to go to, we cannot continue to rely on government. Our goal is to show you, to present you to the world, show how good you are, so that businesses, corporates now begin to invest in you and in Bendel Insurance. That means we must drive more sponsorships. And we have plans to do so. But you also have to help by making sure that you retain your position in the league and aspire to become, the #1 club in the league. I know you are going to be traveling a lot this season, and we have to ease, the pain and the risk in you traveling. So we are going to be buying you a new bus. But you are not going to be traveling alone. Do you normally go alone? Who goes with you? So the supporters club will also get their own bus.
All right, I think some questions that Kwame was trying to ask me behind the scene. I believe he will be able to, from what Gordon Obaseki has said, he understands that, yes, they're not just going to leave it there. They will want to back it up with enough sponsorship and maybe leave structure. Kwame, over to you.
Yeah, I think they are fortunate that they have a governor who is an investment banker, for one. And secondly, they are fortunate to have a deputy governor who was a former player for the team as well. As long just like he only retired last season because he was at the last National Sports Festival. So I think they are putting the right structure in the right place. But my fear is what happens when the next governor becomes a wrestling-loving governor. Eyimba was almost dominating back-to-back in early 2000s, but as soon as Governor Uzo Kalu left, nothing happened. They were just they became a domestic champion. So they are trying to put it in place, but again, our sentiment that you identify with the people in charge. So when the Governor Baseki and Deputy Governor Shaibu leaves, that is my own fear. But I think if they're able to tie the sponsors to a long-term deal, I think that would be good for insurance. And it's also good having your supporters traveling with you. The race system is now the one. Abuja Kaduna is now open, so when you have matches in the north, they can as well exploit that option. So I think it's a win-win situation for the insurance guy. Again, I think it was former Governor Beshola that said we should even consider having the regional teams. Bendel is beneath Delta region, so now it should even be more like Edo Insurance. But because this is, Ken said, it's a traditional site, historical name, I think that's why we are still sticking with Bendel Insurance.
Yes, well, I think I just wanted to hit on the part of the supporters club. It's a good one that they can actually get to travel, and so far so good. The governor and of course the deputy have been doing all they can to make sure that the team is comfortable, and yes, they've been rewarded them by moving up to the MPFL. My hope is that, like Opera rightly puts it, they can tie these sponsors to long-term deals that will secure them even after this government is no longer the government of the day. And these guys know that, yes, they have this confidence, this rest of mind. They can go out there, get the job done, and everything that's due to them, they will get it. Hopefully, we get to see other teams in the MPFL and across even the NNL and of course women's football get sponsors and get soccer-loving people to come in and develop the sport and not looking for how the sport is developed them.
Yeah, I think that's spot on, and I hope that that the supporters also will understand their role in supporting their teams, whether they're winning or losing. All you need to do is to support your team. That is very crucial. No looking for trouble. You know that. Ken, I mean, you have to come in here concerning insurance, Bendel Insurance. Keep saying Insurance of Benin. That would have been better because it's no longer Bendel. I don't know if they're going to, as you said, that name, well, it's a traditional name, so they're sticking with it. If it's Insurance of Benin, it would have been really nice. But it's Bendel Insurance, more like for my Delta. I don't know what Delta State are actually doing. What will leave them? Ken, what do you think about Bendel Insurance? I mean, what the government's trying to put in place to ensure, yes, they're going to be part of this 100 million deal pre-season that is coming up this coming up weekend. They will be a part of it. That will also prepare them for the MPFL season.
Like I said, coincidentally, I have not listened to the governor's speech before. I talked about the buses, and then the governor said they are going to get a bus for the team, they are going to get a bus for the supporters. But I also agree with Ope in one way. After this government goes, what becomes of it? I also know that Bendel Insurance is one of those teams that have been trying to get private investors into the team. Put a structure. Let it not be a government structure. Government by now, even with the deputy governor overseeing, would have left. They would have taken that 4 years, to put something in place for them. Either they are going to use Ogbe Stadium, for them as okay, you guys use this as your ground, and then give them seed money to in the next 4 or 5 years, this money can take you while a management team is put in place. Academies are surviving in Nigeria, even when they're not professional club, by selling players. Big teams in Europe, like Ajax, even and in England, Arsenal used to be a selling club. They sell their best players to survive. The Dortmund sells their best players. They compete. They are playing Champions League final. So selling players is not a crime. So you can get the best of players, pick the best of in Nigeria, if that is your model you want to do, and then sell and use the money, to still compete. So if you look at Ajax, Ajax sold almost all that to the semifinal 2-3 years ago. They are still topping the league right there in the Eredivisie. So basically, that is what we are talking about here. Insurance after the Obaseki and the Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu era should not be Eyimba after Oji Uzokalo. They should put that foundation in place, and I totally agree with Okwe in this. So, but as for Bendel, it is Bendel Insurance of Benin, Manchester's Man United of Manchester. So the city, London, they have their clubs. And here, I was in Gillingham here in England. They have their club. Chatham and Gillingham are all in Kent. They have their clubs. So in the Midlands, you have Aston Villa. They have their clubs. You understand? Birmingham is in Birmingham City. So forget the name. The brand is already the insurance. If you depend on them, people not cry. But the insurance is a brand. Forget Bendel Insurance. Even the insurance company, I don't know if the insurance company is existing. The Bendel Insurance is a brand for everybody right there in the day. We call it Bendel, not Bendel. It's Bendel. Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's quickly get this call coming from Oyo, calling us from Calabar. How are you doing? Good afternoon.
Fine, thank you. And you? I can say you're fine. I don't need to ask.
Thank you.
My contribution is not on Nigerian League. I'm contributing based on the World Cup. I watched you, and you were talking of the 4 teams that will qualify, that you think will lift the cup. But to my surprise, I didn't hear the name of Switzerland. I saw Switzerland play against Cameroon, and they were very good. Their passes were precise and accurate. And they didn't give the Cameroonians the room to operate at all. And we know the status of Cameroon, the indomitable lions in Africa. So for them to have been handled in that way, Switzerland should be looked at. Their team is very, very good. I think Switzerland will also get to the semi-finals of this tournament. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. All right, I think that will be our last caller for the day, so we have to pack up and leave the studio. All right, Ken, are you going to drop your pen? We're leaving.
Yes, I think the Moroccans are about to go over there. Yes. And see if Africa's fortune will start changing for the good, or that they will be the next team to pick a win after Senegal. We expect Africa. It has not been too well, but let me see if one or two of the, maybe basically 2 or 3. Let me be optimistic. Forget what happened in their first round matches, and then before the end of the group stages, pick those wins that we take them right there. I believe even Ghana will go through. I strongly believe so. It's a tough group that like Ghana also will go through to the next round. So that is it. I drop my pen as usual, and they cannot stop us.
All right, guys.
I hope that Spain thump Germany today.
Okay. All right.
Let's not
the Moroccans are the Benjis, they're identical, but I still think this World Cup is for the Dutch to lose.
For Dutch to lose. Interesting. So Morocco and, of course, Belgium will get on the stage by 2 p.m. Nigerian time. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Omogbe. Have a fantastic day.